Hey, bro, I'm gonna tell you, I see some wild looking dudes coming in the store sometime with a backpack, look like you might be the shooter. Do I take off on this? You know what I'm talking about? So we in a fucked up space right now.
Welcome to the We Got Problems podcast with co-hosts Curtis G. Martin, Rhonda L. Brown, and Caliph Johnson Sr., the one and only podcast where solutions get discussed to our community's everyday troubles. Each week, you will hear mind-blowing conversations and actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become more effective. We got problems and we got solutions.
Hey, you guys, welcome to the show. This is We Got Problems, where we talk solutions. I'm here with my co-host, Rhonda L. Brown.
Hey, everybody.
My other co-host, Caliph Johnson Sr.
Hey, y'all, how y'all doing?
And today we'll be talking about the school shootings. What do you guys think? Somebody kick it off.
I think they can be prevented. I don't think that you can prevent them by arming teachers.
Is that the thing now? They talking about arming teachers?
Yes.
I think school shootings will keep occurring just because this country is in love with itself. I was watching some stuff over about the UK. Like, yeah, they had arms at one point in time, but they had one shooting and they took the guns out. Now you don't have the right to bear arms over there. Simple. This country is different because they go off some literature wrote 200-300 years ago, 400 years ago, and this literature is talking about armed militias, and they're translating that into now terms where they can have AR-15s and be able to get it at 18, and if you're having a bad day, something bad might happen.
So I get that, Trash. So you saying they took the guns away and now it stopped. So do we have the right to protect our families?
Protecting your family from who and what? Like, are we worried about an invasion coming from the Soviet Union? Are we worried about the Chinese hitting the shores and taking over our land where we didn't took already, according to the history of this thing?
So all of that. So we worried about them coming to take over. I'm worried about the dude up the block coming in my house to take over.
But that's the thing, like you said, in the UK, they nobody has the right to bear arms. But if you look at the statistics, what has gone up? They can't carry a gun, so they carry knives. So stabbings have gone up.
There we go. So now they got random stabbings.
Hey, I'd rather do a drive-by stabbing than a drive-by shooting.
Well, shit, I don't know, man. I don't know.
If you got to pick your poison, you ain't
gonna do a drive-by stab and just jump out, chum, 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 and bounce.
You're not gonna clean the classroom out in less than minutes.
No, I get you.
And if somebody got a knife, I think more people would be willing to go in with knives with a person with a knife than a dude with the AR-15, and he's capable of, letting off 200-300 rounds every minute. So it's a little bit different odds.
My thing is, like, even when I would go visit my children in school, if I had to go up there for anything, I had to get buzzed in. The doors are locked. Who's letting them in?
AR-15
with these big
glass.
Well, a lot of schools here in California don't have the buzz-ins. We
have buzz-in at our school.
Well, I can tell you this: a lot of the schools. Well, I guess a lot of them in our community are going to looking like prisons, really. But
they've been looking like prisons.
So they do have some schools here in LA and other areas that they're like college campuses, just open campus, walk on, no gates, and you might have a gate around the football field, but the front and the sides are wide open. You just kind of walk in and go. But I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I do think we have the right to bear arms. At what point do everybody get to run around with them on their shoulders? That's the issue, right? Once I see somebody openly, then now I can know something's up at least, right? I don't know where we fix it at, right? But I do know that the problem I have with the right to bear arms is that in this country, you know, communities like mine, they frivolously send us to jail. They give us cases. and then now we don't have the right to bear arms. So that's a tactic to me to keep arms out of our hands. I heard one of the ladies on The View say the other day, I can tell you what'll get laws changed, gun laws changed. Let black people start open carrying all the time. And when she said that, everybody like, oh wow, like thought she was being racial and all that, but she was being honest. She was being
Mhm.
truthful. And 50 Cent posted it and was like, whoa, what y'all think about this? And then it started getting some traction and everybody seeing it. But that's been the case with anything. Once we doing something, okay, is it a problem? So we do have to have some solutions to this because we can't keep having these schools being shot up. And all they saying is, oh, we apologize. We're going to catch the next one and we're going to be ready, right? But we're not doing anything. But
I
now
think
you want to give some teachers. What do y'all think about the teachers having guns?
it depends. You got to remember what communities are being taught by who, and so now who are you arming in these communities? And I believe everybody has the right to be safe. I believe we need more school securities. I believe the schools need more funding. It's a lot of things that the teachers do need to protect them, and it starts with those teachers being able to have whole complete students. So how about we start by getting the kids' parents back home and stop tearing the households up that these teachers are teaching for, because you have a lot of broken kids. If you see the communities that are going to be allowed to be able to be armed, those communities are taught by teachers that don't look like them communities. And those are going to be the ones where we have the most need for weapons, but the
That's
teachers.
not the case though, right? We know that's not the case because, like, I ain't saying our people don't shoot no shit up, right? Our people will shoot some shit up, but we don't target no school and go in and shoot people up. I don't care how what type of spin you want to put on it. Oh, he's mentally disturbed, right? Our mentally disturbed don't even target schools.
Mhm. And I don't think, I think it'll be a lot cheaper to add the buzzers to the doors. Make people have to buzz to get into a school. Have a metal detector. That's a lot cheaper than arming teachers that might possibly shoot a student because they're bigger than them or they're out of control or whatever it is. I don't agree with arming teachers at all. There are
Me
other
either. Me either.
alternatives. Lock the door.
Hey, look, this is the thing about arming teachers. If a teacher is now armed and he's shown signs of racism, because some of them do, they say little things, they teach little things and they say stuff to so-called keep a kid in their place.
Mhm.
So when I come to my third period class, I'm going to get the strap. Now your kids are armed, right?
Right.
Like at some point, I'm gonna be armed because this teacher might start tripping up in here.
I look at
Yep.
it like this though. We have to do something. And if you see what keeps happening, it's for people to take arms at schools and they're taking aim at schools to shoot babies. We have to figure out something to protect the babies because of course at something goes on anywhere in the country, our school has a lot of officers that are have children at the school, so they definitely patrol the school. We need to be able to have situations set up where our schools can be protected by the fathers. Where if we're gonna have babies there, we should be able to protect them. We have an organization called the Watchdogs out here, where we have a volunteer on campus every day. It's a dad that volunteers on the campus every day, and it's a phenomenal organization and I'm proud to be a part of it. And it protects our babies. We have a dad on campus every day. We have volunteers that work with the cross guards, everything. I volunteer daily for that. It's things that we do to protect our kids. So when anything goes on, us as a community need to come together to be able to protect our babies. If you got babies at that school, you are a father, you're protecting them. We need to go ahead and implement that across the board, but we need fathers for that.
Yeah, I like that idea, but also we talked about those security, and they actually have school police now, right?
They do.
Um, I see a lot of wasted resources, a lot of wasted money in all of these police departments. No matter school, no matter your local police departments, you see them sitting around places doing nothing on the side of the freeway. 3, 4 cars deep talking, one on the side of the freeway on his phone. Like that almost remind me if I had a company and a guy sitting in his car just chilling on the phone when he's supposed to be delivering packages, that's a problem. We will fire you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So now you have guys sitting back just chilling on the phone, right? Somewhere in a donut shop. When do we hold them accountable to be at the school and patrolling the actual school?
Now
But
it's
that's the thing. I was having a discussion with someone the other day that was, in that in that field, and they don't have officers in the schools where I am. In MPS, they have no officers in the school. So they have to be called in if something happens. There is not enough officers here. I think they're short like 200 officers to where they don't even have enough to have one sitting at the school.
the scary part about it is we as a whole are running out of people who really want to get in the line of fire. Like our militaries, people don't want to go fight for what they used to want to fight for. Like military recruitment is down, police recruitment is down. Like all of the normal jobs that we would normally look to be filled by people. People don't want to do that stuff no more. People barely trying to defend their own families. So with the country and the state that it's in, it's just a little bit chaotic, man, and it's a little bit hard, and everybody is up in arms, and everybody want to protect their family, but the news keep on confusing you, telling which way is left and right, and in our own backyards, we losing babies, we losing families, and it can't go on like this. We have to figure out how do we protect our kids, and that's the most important part. I feel like it always starts at home. Anything we work on, we got to start implementing just little strategies in our kids to make sure they know how to respond in a situation. Those kids who play dead in the class using their like these are all things that you shouldn't have to teach
You
your
shouldn't
kids.
have to teach your kids that.
But we have 3 drills at the school. We have a fire drill. Y'all, we always remember the fire drill. We're in California. We have an earthquake drill. We need to know how to respond when there's an earthquake. Get under the doors, get in the door, get under the desk, put your hands over your head. All of the typical. Now we have active shooter. That's the third one. They just start implementing that since my kids have started school. So now we have a bug out place and we know how to respond if someone's active. We literally train for that now. That's
But I
the
don't understand that either because most of the school shooters are students or former students. So they know exactly what the plan is. They know where you're going to be.
Well, one of
They
the
went through
issues,
the drills.
one, one of the issues, though, I think, is that they know these people because they're in chat rooms with them. So these people that's in these organizations, they go in the chat room just to listen. And they trying to pick up on things that might happen, almost like a terrorist attack, right? So we're
Mhm.
gonna put somebody in the room with the terrorists. Now we have the information. So are they letting these things act out? Like, who is this guy that's talking to this? So supposedly the guy that was in this chat room that was saying he was gonna do this to the school, he told a police officer. Police officer never relayed the message that it was going down. So he say he might be the fall guy, right? You know, sometimes there have to be a
Mhm.
fall guy once something get too big. In this day and age of social media where everything gets out, it's so blatant now what things happen. Because that guy, the last guy, got killed quick. The guy in Buffalo got arrested with his gun, right?
Right.
We always say we don't want to make things about race, right? But then it always leave clues to where it's about race.
And
my
then
thing
and then the
is
thing
you got babies dying. It don't matter if it's about race or not.
All these police officers there not doing anything. This one lady, she was trying to get into school to get her kids. Police there not doing nothing. They hear the shots going off. They grab her, throw her in the police car. And now she like, okay, you guys, y'all just let me out of this car. Why are y'all holding me? One of the officers let her out. She said, okay, that didn't work. She bust around. She goes up in that school. She go gets her kids, bring her kids out of that school safe and sound. And you had all these other police officers that never moved. And then now this lady is being threatened with violating probation because she interfered with an investigation.
And I would take that charge. I would. If I was her, I would take it. I don't care. My kids are safe. You
Well,
ain't
And
look,
doing your job.
this
I'm
was
and
gonna
even
you know
do what
what?
I
crazy.
have to do.
I'm gonna bring something up, and they know who I'm talking to. We just had a situation where it was an active shooter in the area, and the school was on lockdown, and it was a father that was like, "I'm not leaving without my child," and ready to tear that thing up because I don't care what y'all say. If y'all saying it's active and my baby in there, I'm going in head first, and I don't worry about none of y'all procedures. Get me my kid, and after I get my kid, y'all can do whatever y'all want with me. And that's how we got to be as parents, and that's how we have to be as fathers, as protectors, as mothers, as protectors. We have babies to bring home safely, and I don't care what they got going on. I'm gonna go all the way about mine, and that's just how I feel.
And then when it comes to the rules that the schools have and the procedures that the police officers have, at what point do you decide, like, all right, well, you got all this. You won't. If something happens, you're not going to let me in to get my child. I'm
It's
not
up
going to send them to school no more. I homeschool.
it's up there. Like that's what we need to do. We need to be able to have safe homeschools. But you got to remember, one of the things that we learned in COVID, our kids need communication. Our kids need
Right.
interaction with other kids because it was probably one of the hardest parts about the kids adapting through the whole stay at home thing.
Um,
Trying to learn online. My
oh, I
kid
got
doesn't
something for
want to
that,
go like that.
Trash. I got something for that. I know. I feel you. You know what some of the kids doing that I've ran into some homeschool teachers. What they're doing now, man, is we'll meet up at the park.
Mm-hmm.
We'll meet up at the park, and then we'll all have our lesson plans. And you'll run your lesson plan by the kids. Then I run my lesson plan by the kids. Then we let them play for a little while, and we sit and just chit chat. Then
Yeah.
we bring them back in a little more, let them play a little more. So, and that seems to be working really well. Another thing I've seen them do too, like, so they bring in a scientist, right, at one of the kids' houses. And then all of the kids meet up at that house, and then they do the scientist thing, like some special project. Then we meet up at somebody else's house for something, right? So that's the community coming
Mm-hmm.
together, creating a school without having a school.
Right.
We
But the community has to come together because there are single parents out there that have to be to work. They can't homeschool their children. But if we come together to do it, you won't have to worry about, oh, the teacher's armed or somebody going to walk into the school and start shooting it up. You know your child is going to be safe with somebody in your community.
I like that because coming together, we start a nonprofit, right? We raise money, and then everybody, that person that has to work that can't afford to send their kid, no, we're gonna take your kid, but you're
Hmm.
gonna have to volunteer some time at some point to make up for the money that we're spending for your kid,
Hmm.
right?
we need community though.
We
That's the
need
thing we
community.
lack, and that's the thing we really need to focus in on. And once we lock in and we get ourselves a place that's safe for us to be, without having to worry about all the other weird shit that goes on. We got to get all of the goofy people out who ain't really about the community. We got to get the people out of there that want to say, "Ooh, look at me. I'm got this going on." We got mothers out there showing a. I was looking at a post the other day about um, us fathers needing to be fathers and be more aware of how we sending our children out to this world because we know what type of dudes is out there. As a man, you know what kind of guys are out there. You know what guys talk about. How dare you send your child out there vulnerable in some little bitty shorts or in an outfit that's way too um, unprotective of who their virtue should be. And they said mothers sending their kids out there looking like the mama and the daughter competing on who they trying to get. Like it's crazy. We have to be more aware as parents. So when it comes to community, we need someplace safe where the parents are being parents and the mothers are being mothers and not, hot girl summers.
I-
And we
I'm
need
I'm actually glad we're doing this show because it opens up a whole lot that we need to get back to talking about because we've been focused a lot on business lately, right? So we got to
Hmm.
get back to some of these community issues so it can all come together at the same time. But it opens so many topics. See, we didn't drift it to the whole school system where so much wrong in the schools and the community. So back
but
to
how did
like,
it get wrong in the school? It started at the house.
yeah, no, I
Yeah.
I totally agree. I totally agree because we got to figure out how we're going to get that family dynamic back to being a family dynamic. And we had this big discussion on After Dark, right? Where, oh yeah, it's good fathers everywhere, but we have communities where there's no fathers. We have communities that we know of this, and sometimes you can look at your circle and say, yeah, everybody in my circle has good fathers, but then there's
Mhm.
another circle there where there's no fathers, right?
See,
So we got to figure out how to fix those issues. And then now I remember back when I was a kid, they had what was called a Big Brother program. And the
mm,
Big Brother would come take kids to Magic Mountain just to let them get out and do something, almost like a father figure. So we got to get back to that stuff. And once we get back to that stuff, people have hope. People see some positive things in their life, right?
I believe in really having activities and constructive ways for these kids to be the best version of themselves. That's why I volunteer and I coach. That's why my nonprofit is Track Club. That's why we're out there every day. And I need to get out there. We haven't meet today. So, like, you got to understand what you're doing with your time. And, like, I volunteer my work with our other nonprofit with the Black Masterminds. I volunteer my time into the community. I'm a servant of my community. I'm making sure my kids have someplace dope to be. The reason I do what I do is to make sure not just my kids can enjoy this track world, so other kids can enjoy this track world. I make it safe so other parents can come. And it ain't one of these goofy clubs where you got coaches doing weird shit. You don't have one of these clubs where it's all kind of incestual shit going on. I done seen a lot out there, and I can speak on it because I done seen it, and I know what we don't have, and I know why our parents come back to our club, and I know why we have the dopest parents on the track circuit, because we have a community and we respect our community, and we need to build more communities like that, and we need to be able to teach the blueprint that what we're doing here and have other people go out into their communities and do it. Because if we all are on the same code, trying to build the same thing, we have an opportunity to get to our goals. But it takes us all as parents being parents first, being responsible people. You know, we got to be responsible adults. We can't do this irresponsible shit that we did when we was in our 20s and think that shit gonna work in our 40s and our 50s and so on and so on. If we trying to do the exact same shit we was doing 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you already lost and it's no hope for you. I ain't got no time for people using excuses, drinking bottles, smoking this, ingesting
The
that.
turn up, the turn up.
Man, y'all can keep that shit to yourself. How y'all waste y'all money? It don't have nothing to do with me. All the jewelry you think you fancy, all the designer clothes you think is important, and all this goofy ass shit y'all putting into y'all kids' head, thinking that that's how they supposed to be. We have an obligation to be the best version of ourselves every day. And if we ain't in the mirror trying to get to that, that's your responsibility. I know what I'm putting in mind. I know what we put in our kids. I know what we trying to get out of them. And I'm on the gas. I'm not worried about nobody. Y'all can catch us at the finish line. And when y'all see us, don't talk about it because y'all had the same opportunity we did. But we
Hey,
on.
look, Trash. We appreciate the work you do, and we know the work you do. You're supposed to be somewhere right now, but yet you here recording. Hey, so we touched a bunch of topics. We touched a bunch of topics, but the overall goal or the overall conversation was the school shootings, and we talk about we got problems, but we also want to have solutions. Rhonda, what's a solution before we get out of here? Tell us a solution to fixing these school shootings.
I first off, I think the locks would be good, but you also have to get to the reason why they're happening. What's going on in these kids' heads that's making them want to do it in the first place? And my first thing is, if somebody would be paying attention to them, talking to them, getting them involved in something, they wouldn't have the opportunity to even come up with a plan like this. Most of them are loners. They're outsiders. They're the weird kids, as people would say, but they don't fit in because that's not, they're mentally, or their mentality is somewhere else. Not saying that they're, you know, um, I don't know what I'm
So we need to
trying to think.
basically show them some love.
We
But
do. We need to
they
get
need
them
to,
involved in
Include
things
us.
and included.
yeah, yeah. Hey, so Trash, I want to give you the same question, my brother. Like this the show is called "We Got Problems," right?
Yes,
But we
sir.
always tell people we have solutions. Talk to us.
My perspective of it is we've lost so much that we can never get back. Like the security that our children go to school with and they should feel, that's been lost a long time ago. So for the right to people to do what they want to do. So we know the problem. The solution is we gotta protect our families. It starts in the house. We gotta love our babies. We gotta pay attention to our kids. We got to be aware of what we're feeding our kids and stop feeding them to these video games. We got to stop feeding our kids to these first person shooters so they can think they have a reset button when they pull that trigger. There is no reset button. When you pull out a weapon, it's to protect yourself. And you have to teach this. And we need fathers teaching this to their sons and their daughters. We need a community that's built with love and protection. The men in the community not just protecting their families, but protecting their communities by being a upstanding person, by being a beacon for those kids to look up to, by being the person who you're supposed to be. Not who you think is cool, not who you're trying to impress, not who you're trying to get the next shot of anything. Being the upstanding person you're supposed to be and holding your community down for what it deserves out of you. And that's what I look in the mirror and get out of myself daily, the best version of me. And I know what it's supposed to look like. I just got to get there.
So you say if everybody being outstanding humans, then we can get to a solution.
The best version of yourself takes us a long way. It takes us a long way as a community. And if each one of us can get in the mirror and attempt that daily, I ain't going to say you're going to be perfect because we all got our shortcomings and we all have our vices and we all got our own demons that we're battling with daily. But if you take the opportunity to get in the mirror and be the best version of yourself, we got a damn good chance of making it.
I'm just going to say we all know this country was built off violence, murder, and mayhem. But I think knowing that should have us raising our antennas and having the awareness when we're around. So what I would suggest to the people is that whenever you're around a school, whenever you're around your community, anywhere in your community, look up and be aware of what's going on around you. Pay attention. If all of us paying attention, then we good. I've been places to where I'll see something going down and I've looked at another brother and go like, hey, you see this, right?
We on code.
And then now we on code, like, okay. And then just kind of nod to him a couple of times. Okay, now we just gonna no look this thing and we ready, right? So we got to be on code. We got to be aware, and we got to be our protectors, and we got to make sure don't nobody come into our communities and cause us no harm. Hey, you guys, this is We Got Problems, and we have solutions, and we out.
Peace.
From the team at CRC Empire, we want to thank you for listening. To stay connected with us, like, share, and subscribe to the We Got Problems podcast. You can find us on social media platforms at Curtis Martin 247, at Rhonda Wrights Official, and at the_trash_vegan_. We got problems and we got solutions.